For a while now, I wanted to try my hands at working with leather. I even bought tools and some good quality leather, but I haven't yet found the opportunity to use them. Not until now. My favorite person's birthday is coming up, and as a gift, I want to make a leather bag for her. Sure, I don't have any real experience working with leather, and I only have 3 days to finish this project. But I also have this delusional belief in my ability to make things I've never done before. So I started the project by spending some time in YouTube University, where I watched way too many tutorials to get at least a basic idea of what I needed to do. I need a coffee. One of the things I've noticed when watching the tutorial is that all the makers are using templates when making their products. So this is what I'm gonna look for next. I think I like this one. It seems easy enough for the complete beginner like me. The template was printed out in 6 parts, which I needed to connect with each other. Before I could do that though, I needed to trim out some parts. It wasn't in the instructions that came with the template, but I decided to glue all the pieces on a thicker piece of paper, just to make it easier to work with. Yeah, I know, it's an overkill, but this template is not falling apart anytime soon. I took my time cutting the corners since that was the only part I needed to cut out freehand, and I didn't want to mess anything up at the very last moment. My plan for the second day was to cut out all the parts and prepare everything for sewing. I used an awl to mark the cut lines on the inside of the leather before grabbing my utility knife for the actual cuts. I do have X-Acto knife and even the rotary blade cutter, but I found out that the old trusty utility knife works best for me. I made sure both halves were exactly the same before moving on to the other parts. One thing I learned from woodworking is that if 2 pieces are meant to be the same, they can be off measurements a little bit, as long as they are exact copies of one another. When I made sure that this in fact was the case, I moved on to the handles and the small decorative pieces that looked a little bit like shields. I'm sure they have a proper name, but I don't know it. If you do, drop it in the comments. Before I could go any farther, I needed to stain the edges of the leather. I covered everything in the painter's tape to make my work easier and started the staining process. I chose a dark green stain to get a nice contrast with the color of the leather, and I was super happy with how it turned out. Then I used the polishing gum and the wooden burnisher to finish off the edges. Next, I use a compass to mark the lines to work as a guide for stitching holes. After punching out 1,200,000 holes, I was ready to call it a day. Yep, the final day has arrived, and today I needed to finish the back, which meant I needed to do all the stitching in one go. But it was also Saturday, so I was feeling optimistic since I could dedicate as much time as I needed to do this. I started by attaching the handles to the sides using leather glue for some extra strength. Then I added the little shields on top of them, and I was ready to start stitching. During my research phase, I watched a really good tutorial on a saddle stitch, which is the method I was using here. I linked it in the description in case you wanted to check it out. In no time, I was done with the handles, feeling even more optimistic about this day. That was until I had to deal with the corners. I'm not gonna lie, this was the worst part of this project. It was so uncomfortable to do. I didn't know how to grab the back to make it any easier, and honestly, it was a mess. Thankfully, it all worked out in the end, and once I was done, I flipped the back inside out so that I could work on 2 final stitches. I was so happy to be on the home stretch here because at that point, my fingers really started to hurt. I was so happy with how this bag turned out. And the birthday girl, she loved it too. This was definitely not the last time I worked with the leather. If you like this video, there is a really nice like button somewhere down there. And if you want to see what I'm up to next, well, there's a subscribe button just next to it. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.